Hi guys, this is a repeat of the Tidbit Tuesday I did yesterday because I messed up my background, but now I've learned how to project it so you can actually read it. So we're doing Tidbit Tuesday this week on maintenance, leadership for maintenance. We've recently had some requests from some of our clients to add leadership series to our catalog for the maintenance team, and so we've put that into the queue. And in the meantime, here are a few quick little tips to tide you over. So number one, for maintenance supervisors in particular, you still have to work. I know that kind of sounds silly, but you'd be surprised at how many maintenance technicians, once they get promoted into a maintenance supervisor position, tend to kind of delegate a lot more than they used to. You know, they want to spend time in the office, or maybe they're trying to learn their jobs, or they feel like, you know, there's just a lot more administrative things that have to be done and that type of thing. And so they're a little less apt to be out on the property picking up trash with the rest of the team. Well, that's really not the case. Every maintenance supervisor should be full on out there doing the dirty work every single day with the rest of the team. You know, I always get a little leery of a maintenance supervisor that comes into the office at the end of the day with clean clothes. You know, I think, and everybody else is, got grease on their pants. So, just make sure that you're setting the right tone for your team and that you're actually out there doing the work with them every day and walking the property, picking up trash. It's just like our property managers. We lease apartments. We have to continue to do all of the things that that we were trained to do growing up in the industry. So number two, be the first. Be the first one on your team to hop in there to do a dirty job. Maybe it's a sewer issue, or maybe it's a, who knows? There could be any number of things that are going on at your property that you would normally like to delegate to somebody else. Or maybe there's an issue that's happening at your property, some sort of a catastrophe of some sort that's happening with your corporate office or your ownership or something along that line, and it's your inclination to want to maybe blame a team member for it, or maybe not take responsibility, or it was this person's fault, or that's not my job responsibility now. It's real easy for all of us managers to kind of get into that sometimes, where we think, I want to empower my team, so I don't want to take responsibility for things. But, that can have a bad opposite effect, because, your team members are watching what you're doing every single day. They're watching your behaviors. They're watching your attitudes. If you, say, hey, I don't have time for this, I want to give it to my assistant maintenance supervisor, or, if it's some other job that you would normally delegate to your groundskeeper, just be the first one to hop in there and do it. Let your team members see that you want to take responsibility, that you want to, have the team work as a cohesive unit, that you're the leader, but that doesn't, preclude you from doing, the dirty work and all of the things that are required every day. Number three, don't assume everybody on your team knows what to do or how to do it. So I know a lot of you will get transfers from other properties, and a lot of property managers and maintenance supervisors do things a little differently than others, as we all know. So, you might have a seasoned maintenance technician that gets to your property, but maybe it was an older property that they were working at before, and yours is a brand new lease up. Well, there's a whole different level of training that needs to be involved with that new maintenance technician for this lease up property. And vice versa. You might have somebody that had done nothing but worked at lease ups for the last 10 years and, 5 to 10 years, and had never had to change a gas valve. So, and they've transferred now to your property, and you've sent them off on this work order. And, if, I do this, I get a little embarrassed when I don't know how to do something. And sometimes I don't ask, how to do something, because I want to figure it out on my own, and I want my supervisor to be proud of me. Well, your maintenance associates might have that pride too. So you want to make sure that whatever they're going into, you ask them first. Hey, are you comfortable with this? Do you know how to do this? I know this might be different from your other property, but we like to do it this way. Maybe you walk your grounds differently. Maybe you check in. You have checklists during the day that you have your team members fill out. Maybe it's the way your shop's set up, or the way you go through policies, or your HVACs, or how you handle work orders. You know, just because somebody's been around in the industry for a while doesn't necessarily mean that they know exactly what's going on at your property. So take the time to train everybody every day, which goes into my next number 4, is train everybody every day. You should schedule a time to do training with your entire team, at least every day, every other day, once a week. Maybe pick something. Maybe it's out of your policies and procedures manual that, hey, today we're going to go over, you know, this policy. Today, this, you know, tomorrow we're going to go over emergency preparedness. Friday we're going to be going over the uniform policy, or, you know, how to turn apartments. Maybe you guys have a special way that you like to turn apartments, or maybe you want to, you know, train the team on how to walk the property to pick up trash, or to look for details, or if you notice that things are being missed. You know, it's a good opportunity for you to take the team as a whole and go out and do some training. And like I said, nobody's too good to pick up trash. So, you know, just because, take your entire team to the dumpster and say, hey, this is what's going on. Not just your groundskeeper or your housekeeper, because it's their responsibility. You know, take everybody over and show them what's happening and train them on the proper way to do something, because, you know, it's all about cross training in the maintenance side and in the office side. But, you know, if you cross train your people appropriately, it's going to feel a lot better if you ever have to leave town, or maybe you have an emergency, family emergency, you need to take a day off or a couple days off. You're not going to be sitting there stressed, wondering what's going on with your property. You'll have a sense of knowing that, hey, I've prepared everybody for pretty much every situation, and there's really no reason why I can't be gone for a day or two. And to give your property manager that comfort too, knowing that your team has it handled, and that you don't necessarily have to be there on site. You know, plus, you know, the cross training helps when people get transferred to other properties, and you know, the more knowledge that you impart on your team, the better that they're going to become, both personally and professionally. And it's your responsibility as the supervisor to help foster your team's growth, both on the maintenance side and, like I said, on the personal side. So, you know, try to maybe blend in a little bit of time management into your training, or, you know, crisis situations, or dealing with a difficult customer maybe into your training, or log on to Grow and take a couple of classes. And do, you know, so make sure your people are engaged in training every day. Number 5, have daily meetings with your team. So you should be having a circle up every morning before everybody, you know, goes out for the day. Everybody should have their lists. You know, I like to have everybody kind of sign off on things at the end of the day, or a checklist that you have in the back office that says, yes, these things were done. And you don't have to do that forever, maybe just until everybody's getting to know their new jobs, or if you're promoted, you've gotten to know your job. And, you know, make sure your team knows that you're not trying to micromanage them, but it's more just you know, hey, we've got a responsibility to our clients. We have a responsibility to the managers and our company to make sure that the property's being run the best that we can. And I just want to make sure we're not missing things. So, you know, here's our checklist for the day, and you're going to be responsible for this, and you're going to be responsible for this, and I want, you know, you to be responsible for this. So, you know, it's really helpful, and it kind of gets everybody together on one page and out and ready to go for the day. You can give everybody the big goals for the day, and you know, make sure if you've got a ton of work orders that morning that all of those are going to be finished, or if you've got maybe an owner visit that day, that everybody knows exactly what's supposed to be done before the owner gets there. So, you know, it's really a great idea to have daily meetings with your team. And you should also be meeting every day with your property manager. Same kind of deal. You guys should be on the same page. You should know what the company goals are. You should know what the property goals are. You should know where you and your team fit into those overall goals for your company, and how you can best support in creating those goals. So you and your property manager, like I said, every morning before the day gets started, at least for 15 minutes, just sit down and tell them what's going on and let them tell you what's going on. It's so incredibly important, and it's so valuable to create that bond and relationship with your property manager. Number 6, keep your space organized. This means the shop that you want to make sure, sorry, my phone just rang. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Maybe if somebody can send me a comment and tell me how to keep the phone from ringing. Anyway, keep your space organized. That means the shop and also your office area. Make sure your filing's getting done. There's nothing worse than walking into the back office and open up a drawer and it's shoved full of work orders and papers and crap. It stresses me out. If anybody that's worked for me knows, have your bins set up and maybe have the office team help you get this set up. You need to have your work orders, in process, new work orders, complete work orders to be filed, to be warm called, have a little file folder there on the wall that you've got all of this written down for, so you can do your filing. Make sure all your policies and procedures manuals are intact, in the right place, easily accessible. Your emergency preparedness plan needs to be where everybody knows where it is. If in case of an emergency or an accident happens, where's the closest urgent care? What are your policies and procedures with regard to, if an employee has an accident, do they have to go take a drug test? You need to have all of that stuff highly organized and at your fingertips, and everybody needs to know where it's at all times, including the office staff and the maintenance staff. Where are your SDS sheets, that kind of thing. So, and then also your shop. Make sure your shop is tight. There's tons of companies that have policies about, everything electrical goes under yellow, everything blue goes under plumbing, everything HVAC goes under red, and you color code your shelves. Or if your shop isn't set up that way and your company doesn't have a policy, here's a chance for you to be a rock star and get it set up. The point of organization is so that any person from any other property can step into your property and know exactly where everything is and what to do at a moment's notice. Because like I said, you never know what could happen. You might get into an accident or something, who knows, with all of the things that have happened in our world lately, something catastrophic could happen, and you've got to be able to, in an instant, pull your, get everything that you need. So number 7, abide by policies. Like I was talking about earlier, your daily training or weekly training with the team, pick out a policy out of your maintenance manual and say, okay, we're going to go over this, and maybe give it to Sarah, to go over it on the maintenance team that day, or give it to Joe, or, disperse the policies amongst the team and have them train everybody on them. Maybe later on in the week if you want to do it once a week or something fun like that. But it's critical for both the office staff and the maintenance staff to be cognizant of what all the policies and procedures are, and that you're following them to the T every day. And if you ever have a question about a policy, reach out to your property manager. Make sure you're clear. Don't make anything up. And really, those policies are there for your safety, and they're there for a reason. So make sure you're utilizing them. And finally, number 8, have fun. This should be a fun job. You guys should have a great atmosphere of camaraderie and teamwork, and maybe you guys go out to lunch once a week, or guys and gals, I should say. I'm using the term guys sort of globally, but there are likely women on your maintenance team too. So take everybody out to lunch. Maybe plan a potluck once a month, or maybe go out on an outing, get something approved by your property manager to take an hour off, maybe once a quarter or something like that. It's up to you to go to your property manager and ask if you can do these types of fun things. I mean, your company may have, already scheduled maintenance outings and things like that. But if they don't, take it upon yourself to ask if you can do something like that. your team members will love it, and they'll feel like, hey, you know, we're really a part of this team, and we really, you know, appreciate our supervisor. And you know, one of my favorite leadership quotes is that people work for people. They don't work for organizations. So you've got to be the fun person, you know, that's accountable, that takes responsibility, that makes it fun for people to want to work at the property. So, you know, just make sure you're blending in some fun in the middle of your day too. So, all right, that's the end of our Tidbit Tuesday this week. We will see you guys next week. Thanks.